Sent from Disneyland, history in our hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Bill Dreffel, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, Patty Wolin, Ben and Noel Bruning, and Greg Gorley. B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel DeBlock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has a side view of the omnibus. You can see the driver navigating past the Main Street Bank, and there are guests waving into Town Square. If you look closely, you can see the old 10-cent fare sign above the cab. On the back it reads, Disneyland Omnibus. Disneyland's 5/8 scale double-decker omnibus carries hundreds of passengers daily on a fun-filled tour of Main Street. Camera fans especially like the unique angles the omnibus's second deck provides. It's postmarked May 22, 1958, with a Santa Ana, Help Goodwill Industries Help the Handicapped Cancel, and a 2-cent red Jefferson postage stamp, Scott number 1033. I assume they visit the park on Wednesday, May 21st, 1958, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. The weather was a high of 78 and a low of 58. Park attendance that day was 5,835. It's addressed to Mr. and Mrs. John Ryan of Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. It reads, Enjoying our vacation in Cal. Anne and Tom. I chose 2 omnibus postcards because this week I attended an event at Walt's Garage in Garden Grove. This week I thought it would be fun to take a journey through one of the original Disney studios. When Walt was 21, he arrived in Southern California in 1923. He stayed with his Uncle Robert. At the time, the garage was located in Los Feliz, about 2.5 miles from Hollywood. Renting a room for $5 a week, so around $95 a week in today's money, or just over $375 a month, the rent was paid by Walt's brother Roy, who was recovering from tuberculosis at a nearby veterans hospital. For an additional $1 a week, Uncle Robert rented his backyard garage for Walt to work. Walt used the garage to experiment with film and animation. He built an animation desk out of some scrap lumber, plywood, and milk crates. Walt began working by building an animation desk out of scrap lumber, plywood, and milk crates. At the time, Walt was also going to the major movie studios hoping to find work and observe some of the live-action movies being produced on the back lots. Meanwhile, Walt had started a business relationship with Margaret Winkler, who expressed interest in Walt's Alice comedies, a series of mixed live-action and animation shorts with a real girl interacting with animated characters in an animated wonderland. Walt purchased a used camera for $200, equivalent to $3,800 today. He borrowed some money from Roy to have business cards made up, reading Walt Disney, cartoonist, with his uncle's address, 4406 Kingswell Avenue. Once the Alice comedies were officially picked up by Margaret Winkler, and Roy was out of the Veterans Hospital on October 16, 1923, the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio was founded, and quickly moved down the street for more space. They were still on Kingswell Avenue, but now had a proper office behind a real estate office. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following the EP Sunday sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to enfieldpost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and enfieldpost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has the omnibus parked with City Hall in the background. On the side of the bus are small attraction posters advertising the fun adventures at Disneyland. On the back it reads, Disneyland Omnibus. Disneyland's 5/8 scale double-decker omnibus carries hundreds of passengers daily on a fun-filled tour. Camera fans especially like the unique angles the omnibus's second deck provides. It's postmarked October 6, 1974, with a U.S. Postal Service Travel a New World Visa cancel, and a 10-cent United States We Hold These Truths Jefferson Memorial postage stamp, and an 8-cent Deep Claret Eisenhower postage stamp, Scott numbers 1510 and 1395 respectively. I assume they visited the park on Saturday, October 5th, 1974, when park hours were from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. The weather was a high of 75 and a low of 60. It's addressed to Mrs. L. Wilson of West Bromwich, Staffs, England. It reads, Dear Nana, we're having a great time here. Plenty to do and see. Weather is pleasant so far. We go to San Francisco next, and then to Washington. We hope you're feeling better. Lots of love. Doug, Audrey, and Lindsay. The garage remained for many years, and was back to being storage for house supplies, lawn equipment, and other home repair needs. Over the years, the garage fell into disrepair and was at risk of being demolished in the early 1980s. The garage was eventually put up for auction at a starting price of $10,000. Many people and news reporters attended, but no one bid. The owner, Paul Marr, needed the decaying structure off the property and would have it destroyed. Arthur Buddy Adler, who attended the auction, formed a group known as Friends of Walt Disney. Buddy worked for the U.S. Disney Parks as a senior contracts administrator. In 1982, with 17 other individual members and partners, friends or spouses, they raised $8,500 to buy the garage. The money basically paid for a new garage to be built in its place. It was dismantled and put into storage. The friends met regularly to discuss the future home of the garage, all in agreement that it should be donated to an organization that could maintain it and display it for the public. Some of the sites that were suggested and contacted included the Burbank Historical Society, Los Angeles Department of Parks and Rec, the Smithsonian Institute, and even Disneyland. Buddy was driving around Garden Grove when he found a heritage park run by the Garden Grove Historical Society. He contacted them to be the home of the garage, and in 1984, the garage was officially dedicated at the Stanley Ranch Museum in Garden Grove. Many Disney fans and some previous Disney employees were in attendance. Since Buddy still worked for the company, he arranged for Mickey and Minnie to make the 4-mile drive from Disneyland to join at the ribbon cutting. I took a tour of the garage last Sunday, and it's filled with some Disney memorabilia from animation to theme park souvenirs. The tours are offered only on the first and third Sunday of the month. It's a 2-hour tour that includes the history of the main house on the property, as well as other buildings that have been relocated from around the area to the property, including a schoolroom, a barbershop, a post office, and a replica of Garden Grove's first fire station. The tour guide said that most people are there to see Walt's garage. A likeness of the garage was used for a Cadillac commercial. The image used was not the actual garage, nor the original house, but they did have the correct house number of 4406. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has a blue snail carrying a postcard. The snail's shell has a map of the globe on it, and has the greeting, Happy World Postcard Day, written around the top of it. It's postmarked October 1st, 2025, with a Manhattan cancel and 3 postage stamps, a 10-cent Mariner 10 Venus Mercury stamp, a 20-cent Jim Thorpe stamp, and a 32-cent Jefferson Davis stamp, Scott numbers 1557, 2089, 2974F, respectively. It reads, October 1, 2025. Hi, Clocky. Gosh, it feels like forever since I've sent you mail. I hope this nifty WPD makes up for it. Lol, cheers. Lisa at Lulu Vision. Thank you so much for the postcard, Lisa. I love this postcard, and I enjoyed a nice World Postcard Day, sending out 10 postcards from Disneyland to around the world. One has already arrived in Norway. The other countries that I pulled from post-crossing were Finland, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Turkey, Serbia, and Taiwan. This postcard also reminds me to send more mail. It's always great to go to my P.O. box and see some amazing postcards and letters. I just picked up a pack of holiday greeting cards from Disneyland. They are better quality than last year's, but I like last year's mail theme a bit better. This year I'm thinking about making my own holiday postcards to send out. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Sent from Disneyland or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell, theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.